Here's 5 steps on how to become a real estate agent in Dubai. My name is Dylan Ferguson. I've been living and working here in Dubai as a real estate agent for the last 4 years. Recently, I've started doing day in the life content on YouTube, and the number one thing that's been requested by my subscribers and by my followers has been, Dylan, how do I get into the industry? How do I start my journey in real estate? If you've been asking that question, then this video is for you. Now, I've broken it down into 5 steps. Step number 1, and this is probably the most important, is this job for you? Then we will get on to step 2, choose your environment. Step 3, prepare for the job. Step 4, first 6 months. And step 5, time to make some money. So let's go straight away with step 1. Is this job for you? I think when people look at real estate, all you see is the surface level, the flashy villas, the nice cars, the nice suits that we wear, selling properties and making big commissions, all this sort of stuff. But that is a small fraction of the job. And that takes a lot of legwork and a lot of hard effort to eventually earn and get to that stage in your career. In Dubai, this is a commission-only role, which means you get no salary, 0. I don't know of any company when you're a new broker that will offer you a salary to do the job. It just doesn't exist. So you're coming here, and if you do not work, you do not earn. If you do not kill, you do not eat. That's the way I look at it. You eat, you kill, which is an environment that excited me, but for some people it scares you. So you need to be willing to come over here, and you might not make money for the first 6 months. I know that sounds scary, but the flip side of it is what's exciting. The flip side is you can make unlimited, uncapped commission. So if you want to come here and put all of these hours of work in and really give it your all, then this is a job that can really take you to the next level and can level you up. So what should you expect on day 1 of the job? Well, you have to build your network from scratch. It is practically like running your own business. You should just see the agency that you're working under as your business partner. But you have to go out, you have to build your network from scratch. You need to start calling owners of properties and convince them to either list or buy through you. So it really is starting from ground zero. You need to be willing to face a lot of rejection because, there's going to be people like me and people who are experienced within the industry that you're competing against. And there's people that have been here much longer than me, 20 years, and I'm competing against them every single day. So you're going to be competing against that. You're going to face a lot of rejection, but you need to have the grit to stick it out. So you will not get instant results. I've seen a handful of people come over here, do a big deal within their first month, and it's been the worst thing for them because they didn't have to do any work for it, maybe got a bit lucky, and now they've got a false sense of what kind of work the job requires going forward. And maybe in 6 months, they don't make another penny. Expect to come over here. It's hard graft. You won't get those instant results. But trust me, it is worth it in the long run. You will have times that, the job can bring you close to tears, if not in floods of tears. I've seen it all over here. It really does test your character. It tests your resilience. You could be 3 months into the job. You've moved from overseas. Perhaps you're living in the UK. You've came over here 3 months into the job, turning up every single day on day, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. in the office, hammering the phones, and you might have not made a single penny yet. You might have not got a deal. People will be on the phone, hanging up on you. You need to be willing to do that work and go through that tough time in order to get through to the other side. And also, as you progress further into the job, this job is a 24/7, 365 days a year job. You need to be accessible all the time because you're managing people's money, essentially. If a client comes to you and wants to spend $20 million with you, you have a responsibility and a duty of care. As time goes on, they purchase the property from you, but you need to be available to them for the aftercare. If you're like me, you do a lot of social media, then you need to be readily available to answer your DMs, leads that come through your social media, because if you're not first, then someone else will get it. If they're reaching out to you, the chances are they're getting their feet's probably full of real estate. So you need to be quick, you need to be on the ball, and there's really not many times for days off in real estate. It can make things difficult. If you're out there, friends, relationships, whatever, you have to always be on your phone. If you're out for dinner, you still need to be readily available. There's very few times that you can switch off. If you think this all sounds like doom and gloom and that I'm trying to put you off on step 1, that's deliberate. It's because I am. Because if you've heard everything I've just said and you're still interested and you're still excited about the job, then this job is for you. You could have told me all the negatives about real estate, and all that I was focused on was this is an industry that rewards your hard work, where you eat what you kill, uncapped commission, you can build a strong network, and you essentially run your own business. And all those things ticked all my boxes really made me excited to the point where I was super quick to jump on a plane and come over here and start the job. So if you're still excited after everything I've just told you, commission only, hard work, 24/7, you might go 6 months without pay, then stick around because this job could be right for you. Okay, now we are on to step 2. Now, this is choose your environment. You're thinking, I want to get into real estate in Dubai. Where to start? Well, a good place to start would be search online for the top 5 real estate companies in Dubai. I've had a look myself and they're all credible. Start reaching out to them. Every single one of those companies will have a recruiter. You can either find their details online or contact any of the contact information from their website, ask for the recruiter, and someone at that company will send it to you, or the recruiter will reach out directly to you. And you start having those interviews. I recommend maybe interviewing with 3 of those. I will tell you this, if you've got a good personality, you're a hard worker, and you're determined, you will get the job. Because these companies, they only have to pay for your visa. There's no salary, anything like that. So their risk is very little. So they're willing to take a chance on you if you show a bit of grit and a bit of determination. Be truthful as well, because if that's not you, if you're not a determined person with grit and this doesn't excite you, then maybe this job isn't for you. If it is, then that's what you need to channel on that interview. That's what you need to show that recruiter, that you will do whatever it takes. When I moved here, I said I would literally clean toilets in Dubai before getting on a plane and going home. That's how you need to be, where your mindset needs to be. Anything I have to do, I'm doing it to stay here, to get it done. Other than that, choosing between those top 5 or any other company you see in Dubai that you like the look of, well, what I would say is it an environment that's going to suit you. There's certain companies out here, coming from where I come from, they've got a British culture, British colleagues, British managers, that sort of thing. So maybe that's a good way for you to come over to an unknown place, but still have a bit of familiarity around you. You'll be able to build some friends early on, and you won't feel totally isolated and alone out here in the desert, which if you're like me, I'd never even been here before. I didn't know anyone here. So it's good to have a bit of a community around you. Maybe if you're from Russia, there's other agencies that, there's a good Russian community there. If you're Arabic as well, there's a lot of Arabic agencies over here. It just depends. All you need to do is a quick Google search. All these agencies as well do a lot of social media, so you can see what kind of personalities are working at these agencies from the social media. Although I'm about to contradict myself because I said to choose somewhere where, a bit of familiarity around you. But what I also do say is leave the home comforts at home. I've seen a lot of Brits come over here who constantly go to the pub at the weekend back home. They come over here and they do the exact same thing, but the sun is shining. And for me, I'm like, leave those home comforts at home. This is a time for you to level up, take your business seriously, and really change your life. And if you're going to come over here and do much of the same that what you were doing back home just over here, then it doesn't make sense. Search for friends and search for communities out with your comfort zone. I can now proudly say that I've got friends from all over the world. That's something I'll value forever. And I think that's the true value of Dubai is the people that are here. Yeah, just be wary of that. Step 3, prepare for the job. So assuming you've done step 2, you've had a couple of interviews and you've been given a job offer and you're ready to come to Dubai. You booked your flights, and you're on your way here within a couple of weeks or so. Prepare for the job. How can you prepare for the job ahead of time? What this job takes is an iron mindset. Mindset is everything here. You need to be super positive. You can't let negativity affect you. Otherwise, it's a downward spiral. We're in sales. We are our own motivators. We are running our own business, essentially. You need to turn up every single day with a clear head, a strong mind, and keep that passion that's within you for the job every single day. Never lose that. So what I would say is start developing that mindset. Maybe practicing affirmations, visualization, whatever it is. Start reading some books. There's some good sales books out there, or any books that talk about mindset. Just really try get into such a healthy place within your own mind, where you're super excited to change your life, to get out here, embrace this new beginning and just really see it as excitement. And don't let anyone around you try talk negatively. When I was moving to Dubai, a few people were like, oh, really? Dubai? This and that. And they start to inject their own negative opinions on a place that half the time they've never even been to. Oh, be careful about this out there. Be careful about that out there. You don't need to be careful about anything. This place is the best place in the world. And I can say that hand on heart. It has changed my life. I've met the best people I've ever met out here. The sense of community, the safety, the convenience, the health and wellness, everything that this place is, or everything that this place encompasses, can really elevate your life. So don't listen to any of the negativity. Also as well, start watching maybe content like mine or other creators out there. I do a lot of day in the life stuff and I talk about the job a lot. You can look for that sort of content and start familiarizing yourself with Dubai, the way things work, how things operate once you get a bit further down the line. Okay, we're on to step 4. Now, this is assuming you are here, boots on the ground in Dubai. You've started your job at your company. Day 1, what do you do? Well, I've made this step, I've titled it First 6 Months. Why is that? Because your first 6 months in the job are crucial. This is a time where you can get influenced by anything. This is a new land, a new experience for you. You will be listening to everyone's opinions. You will be looking for new experiences. You will be looking for communities and looking for friends. But this is a time where you need to remember what I'm telling you now, which is develop that iron mindset, and you are here to change your life. So that means when your colleagues say, oh, we're all going out on a boat party on Friday night, but you were planning to come into the office on Saturday morning, say no to the boat party and come into the office on Saturday morning. Those boat parties will be there your entire Dubai experience, by the way. I was just on one last weekend. But now I've earned the stripes. Now I can enjoy it guilt-free. Whereas when I moved here, for the first 6 months, I didn't drink a drop of alcohol. I was in the office 7 days a week, 8 a.m. till 8 p.m., first in, last out. And honestly, within the first 3 months, I transformed my life. You can do it that quickly. It is possible. You can do it within that first 6 months, but you need to give this job the respect it deserves. Don't come over here and fall into the trap of going and experiencing everything Dubai has to offer, the beach clubs, this, that, blah, 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 renting cars, whatever. Don't do that, because that's not going anywhere. Don't act like a tourist here, act like a professional. This is a chance to change your life. Take it seriously. Those first 6 months are crucial. I started in rentals. I was renting apartments where the commissions are small, but the volume's high. And I just focused on the volume. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, I got as many done as I could. And then within 3 months, I managed to buy myself a nice car out here. I managed to move to a nice apartment, got my teeth done. You can elevate your life quite quickly, but you need to make sacrifices, That being said, you could do all those things I'm telling you, and it could still not work out because it takes a different amount of time for different people, really. I know people who have came here, and for the first 6 months, they did those sacrifices. They didn't go out. They worked hard 7 days a week. And, they were still struggling to do deals and get business. That can happen. Again, it's you've just got to stick in it. I tell anyone, if you're in real estate for long enough, it's going to happen. The magic will happen. The luck will come at some point. And then once that momentum starts, you double down. And then that's really where you start to take off. I've seen people who took 2 years to really get going. And then after 2 years, then they started flying. I've seen people that took a matter of months, people that have taken maybe 8 months, people that have taken a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. Everyone's different. And what I would say as well, for the first 6 months, forget about making money. Forget about making money and focus on volume. You want to have as many conversations as you can per day. That is number one. Speak to as many buyers, speak to as many sellers, speak to as many tenants as you can. Start building your phone book. Your phone book becomes your best friend. That is absolute paramount. People come out here and they want to do the big deal straight away and all this and all that. Don't do that. Focus on volume. And the smaller ticket stuff is the stuff that shifts. When I started out here, like I say, I was renting 1-bedroom apartments to tenants and taking a small commission, but I did loads of them. I would rather you make $10,000 over 20 deals than make $50,000 over one in your first 6 months. Why? Because now you've done 20 deals. That's a lot of experience that you've built up. Not only that, that's 20 buyers and 20 sellers. So now you've got 40 people in your phone. If you do that one deal that gets you $50,000, that's 2 people and 1 deal of experience. Get paid in experience first. Focus on the experience first. Forget about the money. The money comes later. I wasn't selling the sexy stuff when I came out here first. Even when I moved into sales, I was selling studios and 1-bedroom apartments, but doing well because I was selling 20 of them. Other people were out there focusing on trying to do one big deal. And the big deals are the ones that they're very few and far between, and they take a lot of time and effort. And when a big deal falls through and you were riding on that, it can really suck when it doesn't pull through. Whereas if you've got loads of plates spinning, you've got 5 offers out on a studio at 1.5 million and a 1-bed at 2.8 million, whatever, you can afford it for a couple of those plates to fall because the other deal will still happen. And then you're still getting volume done. So focus on the volume first. That is absolute paramount. Now we're on step 5. This is assuming you've followed all the steps. You've done your first 6 months or however long it's taken you to really get the ball rolling. That could be a year. It could be longer. And now you've built your foundation. You've built your network. You understand how the market works. You've really studied the market. Perhaps you're in a specific area. Maybe you're selling downtown where I am just now. Maybe you're selling the Palm Jumeirah. And you know your stuff because you've been in the office 7 days a week, 8 till 8. You cannot not know your stuff. If you don't know your stuff by now, then maybe you shouldn't be a real estate agent, because you should be able to be a sponge and absorb everything, right? You should be able to tell me the price per square foot of this building, the price per square foot of this building, the maximum price per square foot transaction in the area, you know, the margins on a renovation. You should be able to look at a building and I say, what size are the 2-bedroom apartments in there? And you can tell me. I can tell you in the buildings in BIFC what size the 1-beds, the 2-beds, the 3-beds, the studios, every single one of them are in. You know, there's in Central Park Towers, for example, we've got multiple 1-bedroom layouts. You can get some that are 1,100 square foot, and you can get some that are 1,274 square foot, which is very large for a 1-bedroom. I used to live in one of them. The studios are 793 square foot all the way up to 905 square foot. This stuff starts to roll off your tongue. You know it because you've studied it long enough. You're doing loads of viewings. Again, this is why volume is so important. You need to do as many viewings as you can because you need to understand the product. That is the main thing. Assuming you've got all of that information, you've really worked hard at it, you've absorbed it all, now it's time to make some money. And this is a part this everyone is excited about, because this is really where your life can start to elevate. Now, the typical fees, let's talk about a sale of a property. You get 2% on the buyer's side and 2% of the seller's side. So if I bring a buyer to a property, $10 million, then I would charge 2% to that buyer. And yes, we've done the math correctly, that's $200,000 for the sale of one property. That's a $10 million property. Those don't transact often. You need to build yourself up to that area to get to that level, to have the credentials to attract these kind of buyers and sellers, all that sort of stuff. But that is what's attainable. $200,000 minimum for a $10 million deal. If you have the buyer and the seller, you can charge 2% both sides if you've got a very good relationship. So yes, you could be making up to $400,000 in one sale. That's just to make numbers easy. Like I said, when I came out here, I was not doing that. You know, I was selling maybe 1-bedrooms at $500,000 and taking 2% on that, which is $10,000. I was doing loads of them. And I was just focusing on the volume. And then obviously when you make that money, you have to split it with your agency. A lot of agencies start around the 50-50 mark. So let's say you make $10,000 from a sale, you'll take 5, the agency will take 5. And trust me, giving that to the agency is worth it, because they give you offices like this, they give you marketing team, admin, everything like that. You know, that's a benefit of working with an agency. But yes, the money is amazing. It can be life-changing. Like I say, volume first, and then comes the exciting stuff. Those are the 5 steps. Now, there's a lot more to the job. I will probably do a follow-up video on this, of how to then level up, you know, how to become a successful agent. This is how you become an agent in the Dubai market. Where can you go next? How can you level up? Because there's a lot to it. Number one for me is you need to be doing everything with a purpose out here. Where you live, where you work out, where you eat, where you spend your free time at the weekend. You should be going to the financial center where the bankers are, where you might rub shoulders with them. They might ask you about the real estate market. They might take your number and they could later on become a client, or they could refer to you some clients. You know, what gym are you going to? Are you paying for the expensive membership so that you're surrounded by other people who are also paying that ticket just to get in there? So that's a little teaser on the next one. But for just now, those are the 5 steps. Follow them. Any other questions, please put them in the comments below. And if you follow these 5 steps and you manage to get a job and you're on your way to Dubai, then also comment and let me know that this video has helped you out and got you to where you need to be. But one thing I would say is this job can change your life if you really take it seriously. Thank you guys. Comment below any more questions, and check out my other videos for the day in the life of a real estate broker in Dubai. See you later. Chris behind the camera is telling me I've done it wrong. But don't forget to subscribe. And what else?
To not miss the next video.
To not miss the next video. There you go. I'm pretty new to this stuff. But anyway, subscribe, comment, like, share, whatever, all that stuff. Bye.
Everyday hustle like William, I'm charging the chicken just for the verse, yeah. I get in that kitchen, I could go to work, I go berserk, yeah. Go out and get it, secure the city, can't sing like the Titanic. Bitch don't want my free band bandit. This paper coming to me 24 hours, I can't go sleep. I know the power of $1, told 50 rounds at least. She know I get money, she know. Soon as I up, let's go. Just like double O. Stay down with me or let me go. Swap the whip out just like clothes. Inspire me to whip up the flow. She with me, she down like the bros. Holding me down like the chosen one. Early in the morning, go. Late up at night, go. Just be precise. Got a pack for the flight.